Previously on Romeo is a Deadman.
Tom, I just got to play a couple of days ago SUDA51's newest game, or upcoming game I should say, being Romeo is a Deadman. And Tom, I have to tell you, this game was pretty amazing. So how jealous are you of me right now, Tom?
Well, I don't know, like the game, like how much it oozes style, but mostly that you got a photo with SUDA51. Those are so good. He's an amazing, energetic man.
He really is. Super friendly guy. We'll be posting an interview with him probably around the same time as this video, so go check it out if you haven't already. But lovely man. Love meeting him again. And then I love playing his latest game, because Romeo is a Deadman, I think, based on all the SUDA51 games I've played, this might be my favorite yet, or maybe I should say, makes the best first impression. Because this game has an amazing presentation, it looks beautiful, it plays fantastically, the combat feels great, your main character, Deadman / Romeo, feels, moves exactly as I'd expect him to and would hope he did, and just everything came together so freaking well in this demo that I really think it might be the most polished SUDA51 game that I've played yet. And that's saying something, But I think in particular, this game really does stand out. And I had a total blast with my 20 minutes or so of playing it.
I think that's really good news, because some people might feel like the Switch version of No More Heroes 3 was could use a bit more polish, even though an amazing concept and doing what they can with Unreal Engine on Switch. Now, why is Romeo a Deadman? Could you explain that for our audience?
I don't know if I can explain it, but I can try to convey what I know. I think for those who watched the trailer, they may already have a loose idea, but for those who didn't, basically, because the opening of this game is essentially that reveal trailer they already had a couple of months ago, where basically Romeo met Juliet. She was on the side of the road and lost her memory, and they apparently got along, and they were going to elope. But on the evening of their potential eloping, or whatever you want to call that, Romeo ends up nearly dead. So what happens is, as he's waiting for Juliet to show up at their party, or at their house, I believe, to go elope, instead, a white devil shows up on Romeo's doorstep, starts eating his face and arm and all kinds of nasty stuff, and so Romeo's basically dead at this point. But then his crazy grandfather, who's like a mad scientist, rushes out, manages to save him by, injecting him with something, and that brings Romeo back to life, kind of, as, so-called Deadman, which is what Romeo calls himself now. And then from all this, he somehow ends up working for a new division of space-time division of the FBI, and who's helping to resolve things, I think, involving the state of the world, which is a complete mess right now, as he, I assume, is hoping to find Juliet at some point, which, by the way, we do encounter Juliet during the demo, but it turns out it's not actually Juliet. Instead, it's a big, gnarly monster.
This is Juliet too, right?
Don't think of it like that. It's just some sort of mutant.
With jiggle physics in all the wrong places.
Yeah, a lot of the characters have weird jiggle physics in this game for loose, rotting skin.
Yeah, they're called rotters, I think, is the enemy to take on, yeah.
That makes sense. And
yep.
Real quick for our audience, you noticed something with the voice actor. He reminded you of another character I think everyone will know pretty well.
But it's a lot easier for me to fight the kind of person who's clearly out for blood.
He is the same voice actor as Pitt from Kid Icarus Uprising, which is amazing. Who we interviewed on the channel a few years ago. I forget his name off the top of my head. I don't know if you remember, Tom.
Del Rio.
Thank you. By the way, I want to stress again, the presentation of this game is really good. The overall 3D art style works really well with the combat, but what really stood out to me were the story-based sequences, or the cutscenes effectively, which are told by way of comic book panels. So the camera pans are like a comic book, and each of those panels, though, is basically fully animated. So you're watching an animated almost still frame type thing that looks awesome, and it really brings the story to life, along with fully voiced, along with the captions being fully voiced as well at the same time. And it's just a really engaging hook. It kept me really engrossed with the story, and you see that I think at the beginning, and then at least when you encounter the first boss, which is Juliet, who ends up being a clone or monster or some weird. We don't know fully why that monster started off as Juliet, but I'm sure we'll get some answers later on. And yeah, the presentation across the board is so good. Even the little loading screen icons are really cute and feature I don't know, like little technical difficulty images with a dog and other things too. Like the presentation, I mean, if you play a Suda51 game, you kind of know what you're getting into. Like he never drops the ball in presentation, and this might be his best yet.
Now, we all know there's like great style and stuff. How was the combat? Like I see you have a sword.
Yeah, I mean, the combat stood out to me for being really fluid. Like, you have really good control of Romeo / Deadman. He's very responsive. You can hop, you can dodge. You have a variety of sword-based attacks. You can use your gun, or you can swap between guns for long play attacks, which really factors in, especially for the boss battle. You can, of course, also use. I say of course, but I don't think anyone knew where I was going. But you also have skills you can use called bastard skills, I believe.
Of course you have bastard skills. I mean, come on.
Yeah, of course. Right, obviously you have bastard skills. And there's at least 4 of them, each corresponding to a button you can press. Like you hold L1, then you press one of the face buttons. And they give you different abilities. Like one's a freeze attack that straight up stops the enemy from moving, which is especially useful for that giant boss again, because you need to target weak points on them using your gun, which then brings them to their knees and can really go in for the damage using your melee weapons. But yeah, the whole thing has a really good cadence of feel to it. Like it just felt like sometimes I find action games to be a little samey and like a little mindless, and I wasn't getting that sense here. I was really getting engrossed in the combat because it felt like it was keeping me on my toes, and it just felt really good and very visceral. Like this game's a bloody game, and it feels good when you're beating up these chunky, rotting dudes like into hunks of meat flying everywhere and blood splattering, and it's just great. It's just a really fun and great feeling combat system.
Well, the game, it labels itself as like the most blood in a Suda51 game yet, and that's saying
Seems
something.
that way. Well, even if you watch that comic book again before the boss, like it is gnarly. Like Juliet, who again, it's not actually Juliet, like straight up rips her head off, throws it on the ground before she transforms into that giant freaky creature thing. And yeah, it's impressive. It's all well done. So
now, for some people, like perhaps myself at times, who have difficulty, like some Suda51 games are actually pretty hard. You were saying there's different difficulty options. How does that work in this game?
yeah, well, first up, the way they present the difficulty is really cute. You were presented with basically a box of chocolates, which reminded me essentially of Forrest Gump. And so each chocolate corresponds to a difficulty. There were 3 in the demo, but it looked like there could be many more. The ones we had were like very easy, essentially. Normal and hard. I went with normal, and that I think worked out perfectly for me because it was challenging, but not so much so that I couldn't beat the demo. I did make my way through, but now I also almost got close to dying a few times. In fact, I actually probably did die a few times, and in the cases where I didn't die but got close, I did have health items I was able to use or consume in order to restore my health. And I think one of your bastard skills may also involve that, but I don't remember if I used that one specifically myself or not. I forgot to mention, you of course have, for your melee attacks, you have a light attack and a heavy attack as well. And then when you're aiming the weapon, you can change your lock-on target too. I had so much fun, swapping between my guns, the sword play, and then also dodging around. And even you could almost say some light platforming, especially when you get into the subspace area. And in this case, I needed to find 5 fragments of a key, which once I put them together, I could go back into the real world, or real space, I think they called it, and then unlock a gate using that key that I had collected and put together. So
yeah, that looks more like a refreshing break from gameplay, like to mix up action sequences and platforming.
Which again speaks to, I think, why I really like this game so much. It had a really good pace to it. I didn't even mention the finishing attack you have too. I forget what they call it specifically, but yeah, I think it's based on a meter that once it fills up, you can deploy a really powerful attack. I tried using it on the boss, and I think I missed, which was a little sad. I'm like, oh man, I was 6 inches short. I'm like, are you kidding me? But yeah, but I do want to stress too that I really enjoyed the boss fight too.
Andre, any closing thoughts for Romeo is a Deadman, which is coming out in 2026, depending on whenever GTA 6 lands?
Yeah. I would just say to, even if you're not a fan of action games, if this is your first Suda51 game, or if you think there's anything interesting about it at all, check it out, because I think this one actually may may have a broader reach, which is, than a lot of his other ones. And I say that not in the sense that this game is any less weird, because it really isn't. But there's something about this game that I think it really does feel like the most polished vision of a game that we've had yet from SUDA51, and while still retaining the eccentric nature of his ideas, and that makes her a really potent combination, it's really polished from what I've played so far. It looks great, fantastic presentation, great voice acting. The combat is fast and lively and fluid. And engaging, and it seems like there's gonna be a lot of depth to it too. Like, I covered the amount of moves there are, and I do want to stress this too, Tom. In many games, I find myself inundated with the amount of options I had, and this, to be fully transparent, there was some of that here too, just because I didn't fully make use of everything. Yeah. But in a 15-minute demo, I think I had a pretty good grasp on most of the systems. Compared to some other action games where I felt like I was out of my league, or out of my depth, I should say. And this one here, I felt at home, very comfortable with it. The controls made sense to me. I liked the mix of close range and long range combat, and the enemy and boss encounters just really worked with it. So I want to play more of this, and the characters are great too from what I've seen. I want to find out more about what happened to Juliet. I want Deadman to hopefully find her and find out more about what's going on with this weird FBI space-time department thing, right? So yeah, it's all great. It's all really good.
Yeah, it sounds really promising in what you're talking about, the combat and just the weird, over-the-top characters and style. I'm sold as always.
Yeah, I'm sold. I'm super sold on this. I wish you were able to be here so you could play it too. But I think you would love it as well. So.
Okay, well, thank you, Andre, and I hope you have a good rest of your time there in Germany. And thanks so much for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for more on Romeo is a Deadman and other Gamescom coverage. Until next time, goodbye.
Go watch our interview.
Watch the
interview.
interview.
Bye, everyone.